All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother Quad from the DC camp. Come back at you with another lesson, and I'm entitled it, This is Hell, a people hid in prison houses. And it was motivated from this article that I seen that came out, I would think it was a couple days ago. Yeah. January 24th, so it was like yesterday, right? Yeah, because today is the 25th. So yeah, this article came out yesterday, and Salakia. It came out 2 days ago, Salakia. And you know, I was just reading, and I remember hearing about this story a few years ago, but it did after it broke. You know, I haven't heard anything about it until recently, and come to find out, the dude killed himself, right? So here it goes. This is a family of Khalif Browder, young man who killed himself after jail, gets $3.3 million from New York. Browder was 16 when he was picked up for allegedly stealing a backpack and jailed at Rikers Island for 3 years. And I'm gonna go into this article a little bit. Look, check this out. It says New York Mayor Bill de Blasio vowed to push reforms at the city's troubled Rikers Island prison complex after Browder, 22, killed himself. He had been held at Rikers for 3 years without being convicted of a crime. So he got picked up for allegedly stealing a book bag, and he was held for 3 years without being convicted of a crime. Now, according to the American Constitution, American citizen has a right to a speedy trial. But this guy never got a trial, right? I'm gonna read a little bit. It says New York City will pay $3.3 million to the estate of a young man who killed himself after a 3-year jail stint over a minor theft case that never went to trial, lawyers said Thursday. So it never went to trial. They picked this man up, and for 3 years, never had a trial, man. And guess what? This would never happen to a so-called white person. First of all, they wouldn't profile the so-called white person for that crime, and as I keep reading, he would have been got out on bail, or he would have had a case or a trial. And this should hit home to all you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, because hey, I got profiled a couple of times saying I matched the description of something, man, you know, but through the spirit, I wasn't arrested, man, you know. Let me keep going. It says, details of the deal between the city and the estate of Khalif Browder are still being hammered out, but they have settled on that dollar figure, according to New York City's law department and attorney for the estate. Yeah, so they agreed on that $3.3 million, but you don't know how much of that is they going to receive, when they're going to receive it, you know? And who gives a fuck about that money, man? It ain't nothing but blood money, man, to keep the family quiet, man. Which that's the difference between, you know, Jake and, you know, and the righteous, man. You know? Because we're going to continue to cry out for justice, man. Because that's not justice, man. Receiving that payment, that blood money is not justice, man. Okay? I'm going to keep going. It says, Browder's highly publicized case drew the attention of celebrities and helped spur for criminal justice reform. So that's the only time, you know, it gets attention. You know, what about the other cases, the many other cases that nobody ever hears about? The only time you hear about it for a little bit is when celebrities take attention to it, man. And that's usually when Esau wants a case to be heard, man. It says, you know, so they can slap us in the face of let you know that you still in prison, man. You still a slave, but Jake don't want to acknowledge that fact. It says Browder was just 16 when he was picked up in 2010 for allegedly stealing a backpack and jailed at the notorious Rikers Island for what turned out to be 3 years, 2 of them in solitary confinement. I wonder why he was in solitary confinement. It says the case was dropped and Browder was released, but he took his own life in 2015, due in part to the violence and psychological damage suffered at Rikers, family member said. Now, the case was dropped, man. They didn't. First of all, they ain't have no evidence, but they ain't it took that long to drop the case. He was in prison for 3 years, man. And what? It said solitary confinement for 2 of those years. And then he killed himself afterwards. because of the violence and psychological damage. Now, you may guess what happened to this guy, man. They probably raped him, man, because Jake is wicked as hell, man, in there. Jake not protecting themselves in these prisons, man, protecting each other. Nah, they making it worse. You know? These niggas is raping each other, man. And this is a fact. Or they got different gangs, they stabbing each other up. It's the same thing, man. Except you're in a more confined space without with less chance to what do you call it? To release. You know, Jake got vices. You know, Jake drink. They don't get to drink like that. They sneak it, make it. You know. They don't have women like that. You know. So hey, man. That it's wicked all around, man. And these devils act as if they want to make something better or something, man. Well, they've been doing this for years, man, since we first came over here. You know? And you got women talking about they the most unprotected. I ain't even getting into that, man. Let me get into the scriptures, man. Just wanted to bring that out, and then I got couple more articles that I just wanted to show. So this is Isaiah 42 and 22. It says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. For they are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore." And none of them said restore, because when you go into this story with this Jake, it didn't say it in this one, but he had a $3,000 bail, man. He had a $3,000 bail that they couldn't come up with. His family couldn't come up with that, man. And nobody helped him, man. All them celebrities that took concern, and none of them helped that kid, man. You know? Or maybe they heard about it too late. You know? So nobody said restore, man. Not these devils who didn't have no evidence, because guess what? These prisons are for profit, man. They create laws, that stop and frisk law, whatever the fuck they got. It was meant to profile Jake, and it was meant to keep Jake in prisons, man. As a matter of fact, let me get this real quick. Let me get this scripture. This is Psalms 10. Can't get it at that part. Psalms 10 and verse 8, it says, "He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor." Right, and it says in the villages, right? Because they got Jake in projects. Now, if you go into like certain areas, like certain suburbs, it's less policed. Right? You go into the projects, it's more highly policed. Because they say that's where more crime is. Duh, crime and poverty go hand in hand. When you deprive people of certain things, they're going to try to get it by any means. Not saying that it's right for Jake to be doing some of the things that they doing, robbing they brothers, killing their brothers, you know, things that they do. Selling drugs to but they shouldn't be doing that, but they do it because they put in this situation, man. You know? So this devil puts them in that situation, then goes and say profile them. They more likely to commit crime. Like they don't know it. Like they don't have the statistics to prove that. You know? It says, and then they hide in secret place. They be all in the cut, you know? Or they set Jake up. You seen that show they used to have bait car? They set Jake up, man, to commit the crime. Just so they can fill up the prison houses. And if they don't fill up the prison houses, then they gonna get in trouble, man. Because they got a quota. And guess what? These prisons, they have the prisoners working. I seen the article that came out where they had prisoners working on cotton fields for 4 cents an hour. You might as well say it's for free. And it's not funny, man. It's just I'm laughing at the blatant devilish acts, if you will, of these devils, man. But you got our people still trusting in these pieces of shit, man. You know? It says I'll read verse 8 again. He sitteth in lurking places of the villages. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Yeah, his eyes are privily set against the poor. That's who they want, man. You know, they the scriptures say they refuse to let us go. They want us to be the slaves, man. That's what America was founded upon, man. The oppression of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And I'll say some of these high murder rate cities, I know Jake is doing some of the killing, but I believe that a lot of these cops is doing some of the killings and just saying that a lot of these unsolved murders, it was the cops doing it, man. Because in Baltimore specifically, you know, I heard, you know, I know people, they say that, you know, if you don't pay these cops the money when you out there slinging drugs and shit, you don't pay them their money, then they gonna kill you. Okay? You know? So hey, Esau has the power to control the narrative, man. You know? Because he puts out this image of Jake, and that's what all people know, man. You know? I'm gonna keep reading. It says, verse 9, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor. When he draweth him into his net. Yeah, they set out traps. They set out these laws for Jake, or the 13th Amendment, where they rule out slavery. Slavery is outlawed, but except you get committed for a crime. So then they set up these laws to make Jake commit crimes, man. They create felonies, you know. they make them felonies, man. And then they know Jake don't have enough money. They'll pull Jake over, give him tickets, and he don't have that money to pay that ticket. You know what I'm saying? Then they take away his license, and then he can't go he can't get a job, man. You know, so they set these things up and then make Jake repeat offenders, man, to keep Jake in the system. That's why you listen to Jake. Majority of the people that get out of prison, they're repeat offenders, man. You know, and once you get into the system, it's hard to get out. Once you get a felony, it's hard for you to survive, man. You know? And we don't have no power in our hands, man. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get to that too. This is, I'll read verse 10. It says, he croucheth and humbleth himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Yeah, like that article, man. Oh, yeah, we're going to try to correct prison reform. Yeah, right, man. You know? They've been doing this from the jump, man. And this is why you Jake shouldn't be fucking, you know what? Let me see this real quick. You Jake shouldn't be them police officers, man. You know? Because that's, you know, it's for the oppression of our people. They tell you to go into these neighborhoods, man. This is Proverbs 1 verse 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Yeah, because these devils is nothing but sinners, man. It says, if they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. Yeah, and that's what they do, man. Our people do that, man. Because I say Baltimore again because you got videos where these niggas in Baltimore. Yes, it's pit. Well, it says dungeon, you know, or pit or a hole. That's pretty. There it goes. Especially one used as a cistern or a prison, man. You know. It says as those that go down into the pit. You know. And that's what when you a cop, that's what you signing up for, man. You know? And you ain't supposed to do that. It says consent unto him not, man. You're supposed to be making these deals with these devils. You know? But let me get the curses, man, because hey, these curses ain't nothing but a sign of who you are. So you Jakes, you need to wake up, man. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 18. It says, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of the land, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Yeah. You know, and the fruit of thy body is your kids, man. Here it is. You can't correct your kids, but they could throw them into a correctional facility, man, which might turn them out, man. Might want them to kill themselves, man. We are cursed people. You need to wake up, because this ain't happening to nobody but our people. I'm not going to read certain things, but I typed in Google percentage of Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in prisons, man. Now, look, it says reservation to prison pipeline. Native Americans are the unseen victims of a broken U.S. justice system. And I ain't even going to the stats. I'm just looking at the titles, man. What's the percentage of racists in prisons? According to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, in 2013, black males accounted for 37% of the total male prison population. White males, 32%. Yeah, because they supposedly got the way biggest population. And Hispanic males, 22%. So right there, 54% of Negroes and Latinos is the prisons. That's more than half. Okay? And that's not including the Native Americans, man. So-called Native Americans. Shit is wicked. You know? What percentage of Americans are in prison? It says in October 2013, the incarceration rate of the United States of America was the highest in the world at 716 per 100,000 people population. You know, while the United States represents about 4.4% of the world's population and houses around 22% of the world's prisoners, man. So why is the rest of the world not having as much prison or arrests as America, man? So you can see it's a system, man. Yeah, Jake supposedly represents only 12.4% of the population, but you comprise of most of the people in prison, man. And you just keep reading these private-owned prisons making money, breaking down mass incarceration, Latino Native American prisoners least likely to get early release option. Why is this, man? Why is these things, man? And guess what? Check this out. Decades of exoneration stats show blacks more likely to be wrongfully convicted. Wrongfully, of course. You profiling them. You just wanna fill a quota. And guess what they do? They know Jake don't have the money to pay for a lawyer, so they try to give him a plea. Cause all they care about is they conviction rates, man. So they have Jake facing 70 years, so to speak, 25 to life. But you take this plea deal, you get 5 years, man. And guess what? I know people to whom it happened to, and I'm sure you have too, man. So if you don't wake your ass up to this, you're gonna be a victim, man. You can be a victim. You gotta know who your enemy is, okay? You have to know who your enemy is, man. And the plots that they got set for you, man. All right, now let me jump down. I'm gonna go to verse 32. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 32. It says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hands." Now, that guy's family, they ain't had the $3,000 for this man. So their sons and their daughters, their son was given to a whole nother people. Now you property of the state, right? And your eyes just looked and felt with longing for them all the day long. And there was no might in your hands. There was nothing you could do about it, man. They could come and arrest your family member. You know they didn't do it. You knew they was with you, but they said that he fit the description, and now he's locked up, man. And you can't do nothing about it. That ain't no way. That ain't living, man. This ain't your rest, Jake. And you can't cry out to the so-called white man for justice because he's been doing this for years. And he ain't going to stop, man. He hasn't stopped yet. What makes you think he's going to change, man? You got to cry out unto the Lord. And that's what we doing. Let me jump down. I'm going to just jump around. It says, verse 41, Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. We went into captivity back then, and we still going into captivity. As soon as we born, man. As soon as we born, we already owe debt. This is crazy, man. But Jake want to live here. Jake don't see anything past America, man. All right, now let me jump down to verse 65. Nah, I'm going to start, 65. It says, "And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest." See, I said it's not your rest, man. We don't have no ease, man. We constantly, they wearing out the saints, man. It says, "But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind." And yeah, that's a fact, man. Hey, police pull up behind you because you know this history inherently. When they pull up behind you, your heart is trembling, man. You got failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of life. Like I said, this ain't living, man. We don't have no assurance of life, because at any moment it can be taken from you, man. You know? At any moment, our life can be taken from us, man. Whether it's in prison or just physically, because they can kill you. These cops is killing Jake, and they not getting locked up for it. As a matter of fact, they're getting paid leave. Okay? It's Sirach, Ecclesiastes 9, verse 12. It says, "For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them." And this is that evil time, man. You know? Lest you turn back into your power, man. You're going to be caught up in these nets that these devils got placed for you, man. And you don't know when it can happen. It can happen at any moment, man. So you constantly walking on eggshells, man. You know? Let me get this in the Apocrypha. Now I'm going to get to Sirach. I missed that. I misspoke. It's Sirach 13, verse 13. It says, "Observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing. When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep." See? So it says, observe and take good heed to this, man. Listen to this. What we saying to you, man. For you walkest in peril of your overthrowing. You don't even know you in hell, man. You don't even know that your enemy, your enemy from the beginning is the one ruling over you, and he hates you, man. He got it out for you. He wants to destroy you, man. Since your birth, he wants to destroy you, man. And you have no idea why, because you don't know who you are. Okay? You don't know why the so-called white man hates you so much, man. You know? But you hate us. As a matter of fact, man, let me get because they got that 3.3 million, and this is what this scripture say this. Where is it? I'm losing my mind. All right, here we go. Ecclesiastes 7 in verse 7. It says, "Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart." Because oppression is supposed to make a wise man mad. You're supposed to be mad at this thing and seek. The scripture say a prisoner hasteth to be loose, man. So who should you be crying out to, man? But what? That gift, that 3.3 million. Okay. I guess they see the error of their ways. You know, that gift perverts that judgment, man. Is that worth the life of your seed, man? And you still can be in that situation? You trust that this devil gonna give you that money anyway? You know? Hey, but we the ones that's still crying out, man. We the ones crying out for our people. We do this daily. We don't just protest when the so-called white man tell us to protest, man. You know? We crying for the oppression of our people. The scriptures say, cry, Ezekiel 9 and 4, to set a mark upon the foreheads of them that sighing and crying for the abomination that's done in the midst thereof. A part of the abomination is what they doing to our people, man. And we see that, man. Y'all ain't crying out for that unless it happened to you. This is Psalms 69 verse 3. "I am weary of my crying, my throat is dried up. My eyes fail while I wait for the Most High." Yeah, because everything is not right in this place, man. Matter of fact, I wanted this one. Lamentations 2. You know? This is more so what's going on now. You know? With the Lord, because we are going against our power, he set these devils over us, man. You know? What is it? Here we go. This is Lamentations 2 verse 11. It says, "My eyes do fail with tears. My bowels are troubled. My liver is poured to the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the suckling swoon in the streets of the city," man. You know? So we cry for the destruction of our people, but we crying out to the Lord, because ultimately, it says to turn aside. They faint, you know? The word is I top. I think it's I top. You know? We languished, man. We being oppressed and destroyed, man. And the whole, all these nations whom you deem you niggas want to fight for, is they not crying out for you, man. Scripture said, who shall comfort thee, or who shall bemoan thee, man? Nobody. But your prophets, man, the ones whom you hate. You know, we're not accepting the bribes of the wicked, man. Let me get this. It's Psalms 12. 1 Samuel 12 and 3. It says, behold, here I am, witness against me before Yahweh, and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose ass have I taken, or whom have I defrauded, whom have I oppressed, or of whose hand have I received any bribe to blind mine eyes therewith, and I'll restore it to you. Yeah. So who have we robbed? You hate us so much because we telling you what's going on. We telling you who you are, and we telling you who your enemy is, and correcting you because you're going off and why you going through these things, but you hate us for it. We become your enemies because we tell you the truth. But who have we robbed, man? Who have we defrauded? Who have we oppressed? We're not oppressing you. We're not the ones locking you up. Whose hand have we taken any bribes of, man? If you can prove it, and we'll restore it to you, man. But it's not true. It hasn't happened. You know? Isaiah 33 in verse 15. He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from the holdings of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil, he shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His water shall be sure. Yeah. Because when you walk in righteously and speaketh uprightly, man, we despise the gains of oppressions, man. You know? I always say Moses, he forsook that high position to suffer the oppression with his people, man. You can't feel right about this place, man. It ain't no getting comfortable in this place, man. You know? And as for these so-called white people, man, and you jakes that just a lot that don't speak up, this is for you, man. This is probably, I'm gonna close on this. This is not Psalms, Proverbs. This is Proverbs 21 in verse 12. It says, the righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but the Most High overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. And that's what's going to happen, man. You know, it says, verse 13, whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. Right, because that Jake, man, he was declaring his innocence from day one, just like majority of our people do, man. Decades of exoneration stats show blacks more likely to be wrongfully convicted. These men been declaring they innocence from the jump, and you stop your ear at it. What did it say right here? Latino and Native American prisoners least likely to get early release option, man. So you stop with your ears at the cry of the poor, man. So what? You also shall cry yourself, and you're not going to be heard, man. Okay? And that's what's going to happen, man. You know? So Lord willing, that was an edifying lesson, man. Like I said, it was inspired by this story, you know, happened in New York and Rikers Island. But we all know, man. But it's time for you Jakes to wake up, man, to it. You know? To the oppression of our people, and wake up to who you are, man. These curses is real. It's a sign. And it also lets you know who's that wicked that's ruling over you, man. Scripture say the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And this is his system, man, that he created. It's your hell. With that, I want to say shalom.